Hey kiddos, it's your dad here. I wanted to talk about how content creation is worse than a 9 to 5 job and some of the reasons why I quit being a full-time YouTuber. So, I was doing YouTube full-time for a couple years. I had a team of 4 full-time video editors. I had a full-time thumbnail designer, another assistant that would help with various back-end things, with content production. And we were making we started off not really making a lot of money. We were making a little bit through just like affiliate sales and stuff like that. But then after about a year of doing content full time, we started increasing, and we were making a few thousand a month, and it was enough to be able to cover the team, and also bring in a little bit of income. But had I just been doing everything myself, yeah, I would have been pocketing a lot more. But I was also trying to scale, and I was doing this full time for 2 years. And prior to that, I've been making YouTube videos for, I mean, I for years. I started, I guess, back in 2016 or 17, maybe. Just making videos talking about something that I was interested in. So when I first joined the Coast Guard, I started talking and sharing things that I didn't see people talking about, like how to join the Coast Guard, what it's like being in the Coast Guard, interviewing other jobs that were in the Coast Guard that nobody was talking about that I was just interested in. So YouTube started off initially as this thing that I was really just curious about, and I always just wanted to share. I like sharing things and teaching things, and that's why I started it. It started out very just out of a place of curiosity and interest. And so when I started being able to monetize that, and we started, I made a book on my military channel and started making sales from that, and other affiliate sales. And then when I started my business, I started making YouTube videos when we were talking about Airbnb and how to how to grow on Airbnb. Again, it started initially as starting a podcast and just interviewing people, again, just out of curiosity. But then, with that particular YouTube channel, that business, it started to it became less about just a curiosity, and then it started to become more about the business. How can I grow our property management company? How can I grow our coaching business? How can I get more investors? And the thing that started off as a curiosity and a joy started to become something. It started to just feel like a way to be able to extract the money from people that were watching the content. So we were providing value, but it was also how can we extract money to be able to grow our businesses. So I was working a full-time job while I was growing this, and we were able to grow our business to multiple 7 figures, and we were doing really well. And I have other videos on the channel where I talk about some of the struggles with that business. So I'm not going to go into detail with that, but eventually left that business and decided, okay, I left my job. I left, we stopped doing that business, and I decided, okay, well, I'm just going to do YouTube full time. It's on my own terms. I don't have any business partner anymore. I'm not going to be doing like any high ticket coaching or like back end type business. This is just going to be like a content business, affiliate marketing, maybe sponsorships. And if I want to create my own product, it'll just be on my own terms. But I decided to focus more so on the affiliate marketing, because that way I could just share things that I'm interested in, and then I could make money from it. But like I shared, I scaled up the team. I had all these video editors and thumbnail designer, and it turned more into just videos with deadlines, trying to hyper optimize thumbnails and the video scripts, getting a strong hook, getting getting people to engage throughout the whole video, increasing my average view duration, getting people to engage at the end and watch another video, or increasing my click-through rates on all of my different links. And what started out as, again, is just I want to share things that I'm interested in and curious about. It fell back into the trap of how can I hyper optimize this thing so I can extract more value. And chasing attention is something that, being a YouTuber, is a trap, because attention is very fleeting, and you always need to be trying to get attention. And if your business relies on attention, then it's never going to be stable. It's and you're just trying to think, how can I one up myself? How can I get more views? How can I increase this thing? And it moves away from it moves away from doing something that you genuinely love, or that you're genuinely just curious and interested about, to something that is like a hamster wheel, and you just have to keep running, and you have to keep running faster, and you can't stop, because as soon as you stop, it slows down, and it becomes a lot more difficult to be able to keep going at that pace. So I decided to step off the hamster wheel completely. I was ready to, at that point, and the thing about attention is that, and I tried to apply so many things to it. Like I tried to apply more of my Taoist philosophy and mindset to it. Of, okay, well, how about I just create content without an expectation of getting views, and I just create for the sake of creating it, and I treat it, let's say, like a 9-to-5 job. I'll just show up every day, I'll create this content, and I'll do this thing, and logically it makes sense. Like detachment from the expectation of getting reviews, and just you do your thing. You show up every day. It was easier for me to be able to say that because, you know, I had money coming in through YouTube and the other businesses, real estate. So I wasn't dependent, let's say, on the money as much. I could scale back the team. I could do these things. But again, even though now, like, I got rid of all my video editor. I don't have any video editors. I'm not even editing these videos. This isn't a business, but I decided, like, I'm just gonna be a lot more raw. And if I do decide to start making content again, my perspective has changed, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But the problem, but the problem, even if you apply this non-attachment to an outcome and you just treat it, let's say, like a 9-to-5 job, is that there's this quote that I like to share a lot, and it's what fire dies when you feed it. And I believe it is a like a psychological bug that people have, is that when you, it's very hard to be satisfied. Many people find it very hard to be satisfied, and the problem is when you put yourself in a situation where your business is dependent on getting views. It doesn't matter even if you have non-attachment. It's that you're still, unless you turn off all of your YouTube analytics, and you're not looking at the views, you're not engaging at all, it's hard to not say, oh, well, if I change this one thing, this does a little bit better. It's like why you see some content creators, it's funny, it's funny, but it's also sad. You'll see somebody, let's say something goes viral on TikTok. They do a funny dance. They do a funny dance, and then they become like, oh, that's the guy that does that funny dance. The person, the person that wanted to become a full-time content creator does this thing, they get rewarded, and then they're like, oh, this thing works, let me try it again. And it's like Pavlov's dog. It's like, you do this thing because you get rewarded, and then even if it causes you pain, you just keep doing it because that's what you're being conditioned to do. And that's what the algorithm conditions you to do, because as soon as you move away from doing that thing, you get punished by the algorithm. And unless you're okay with being punished, which people don't like being punished, you're gonna just fall back to the thing that you do. In the military, we had this saying called "choose your rate, choose your fate." If you pick a job, you're gonna be stuck with that, and that's going to be your fate. So some people, they try a bunch of different things because they're trying to become a content creator. They try this, they try that, they try this, and then they start creating content around the thing that they're getting success from. But is that even the thing that they really wanted to create? Like, are they really interested in that thing? You know, maybe, and that's great. Like, it's a beautiful synergy if you're doing something that you love and you're getting paid for it, and and that shows as authenticity in the content, and it still has its challenges, which is why you see a lot of content creators quitting after doing this for years, even if it's something that they love. Like Matt Pat is an example who's kind of relevant, at the time of, I'm recording this video. But you see it time and time again. So, and what I was saying with choose your rate, choose your fate, is that you might get stuck doing something that you really don't want to do. Maybe it's a schedule. Like, I've seen people that they start talking about politics and it hits off, and they're just like, oh, like, yeah, I'm getting rewarded because people like watching this stuff about politics, and then they're creating stuff about things that they don't even care about. I saw another one recently from this guy. He's like Koi Academy or something like that, or Koi something, and but basically he was a content creator that was a medical student, teaching people how to be able to study better and how to be more productive with their studying and stuff like that. And he stopped being, he stepped out of medicine quite a while to do content, and then he realized, like, oh, like, I've grown as a person, but I'm stuck making videos talking about something that I'm not interested in talking about. And he decided to quit because it was just like, he wanted to grow this business. He wanted to grow a business rather than just talking about how to study better. So his interest shifted from the thing that he was doing, and that happens as a content creator. Your interest shifts, and that's why, for me, like, I've created multiple channels because I've had multiple interests. Like, I talked about the military, the Coast Guard. I grew that, and I just shared it because I was interested. I didn't really try to monetize it or grow it as a business, but I didn't feel called to keep making videos, so I just stopped making videos on that channel. And could I have kept growing that as a business and monetizing it in different ways and doing that? But sure, but I don't want to do something that doesn't feel aligned with where I'm at in my life. The same with Airbnb. Like, I was very interested in Airbnb and growing that and talking about it, but then it became this business, and I was just like, I don't care about Airbnb anymore. Like, I enjoy, like, the online business stuff, so I started another channel when I was being a full-time YouTuber, talking about online business and finances and these things, and then it became more about being a full-time YouTuber rather than talking about the business and stuff. And I was just like, it's a hamster wheel. Like, I gotta step up. This is worse than a 9-to-5. At least with a 9-to-5, I can check off, and I can be like, okay, show up to work, stop work, and then that's it. But when your income is dependent on authenticity, consistency, incrementally getting better, an algorithm that feeds you and tells you what you're doing good and what you're doing wrong, these are much different bosses than just a regular job where you can do what you're doing and then you have your mental peace. At the end of the day, when I was full-time YouTube, I was drained every day. I was just like, I'd be tired at the end of the day all the time because I'm just thinking, like, what can I do better? How can I improve? What's the next video? And then I'd have to record the videos, and I'd spend a whole day recording and trying to batch record. And whenever I was, planning to do a vacation or a trip, I'd have to do multiple videos in advance and think about, what's going to be my content schedule. And then having a full-time video editing team, and I'm constantly having to keep videos active for them and always on their schedule, and I always have to plan in advance, and now I need another assistant because now I need to plan out all these videos, and we need to do all this production, and I need to outline all these things, and then I'm paying for mentors so I can hyper optimize my scripts and get script feedback, and then I'm paying for a shorts consultant who scammed me, and just trying to improve on the shorts because now I need to expand my reach, and so I can funnel that to my business. It's like all of these different things, and it's like, whoa, this is like way too much, way too much. Hold up, what, why did I start this in the first place? Why would I want to punish myself by doing something that has stripped the joy out of doing it? And that's where it comes down to. That's where it comes down to the core of making content, genuine, authentic content. And if you want to be a content creator, you have to be very careful. And for me, because I still love I'm making this content on, it's got like, I don't know, some 5 views a video. Like, nobody's watching this, but I'm not making this for anybody. I'm making this for my kids. I'm making this for you. So that's why I'm making this, because there's something that I just feel like I need to share. I need to share some of the lessons, some of the things that I'm going through, because maybe they'll help you as you're growing. And that's the key to being a content creator, or creating content, is what you're doing coming from an authentic place and not a pseudo authentic place. I see people that say that they are being authentic and sharing themselves, but again, it's just a mask to try to deceive people into believing that they are authentic and true. That really pisses me off when I see people being fake authentic, because it makes me believe like, oh, maybe they're being very authentic, and then it's like, nope. It's just a manipulation. It's a way to manipulate. But is the thing that you're creating coming from a place that is coming from love? That's why I said, if I am going to start a business with YouTube in the future, like for me, I've just spent the past 6 months learning how to trade. I haven't made any trading videos, but I like to make some trading videos because I feel called to share things that I learn, and I feel called to build a community and find people that feel similar to me. I'm a part of a community of people that have that, and I want to share that with other people. Like, I don't even necessarily want to create my own community. Right now it's just like, I just want to share this thing that I enjoy. If my friends are interested in it, I would tell them to join. If my mom was interested, I'd tell her, because it's what excites me. So I want to share it with other people. But if I made my business and my income and the life that I want dependent on that income, that's where it becomes a problem with being a content creator. Because now your business is attention, is views. And if your business is attention and views and sales, and not from the thing that you're doing, which is just, let's say, creating for the sake of creating or sharing for the sake of sharing, that's where things quickly fall apart. It wasn't a problem when I was creating content as a, talking about the military and sharing it. It started, it could start to become a problem if now this is my income and I need to keep doing this thing, and more so if the thing that I'm talking about is not aligned with who I am. I struggled with that for a long time, a very long time, because I spent years building up this Airbnb business and this reputation online and this website and views and this podcast and all of these things. And I just kept saying, like, when I was transitioning and figuring out what I'm going to do next, I'm like, even recently, I mean, not recently, since the past like 6 months when I decided to start trading full time, but when I was thinking about, like, what do I do? I have this website, I have these views, I have this reputation. I'm just thinking, this is a business. I can make money. How can I monetize this? I can't just let this go. I've spent all this time and energy, but I felt internally, I really can't do this because this isn't aligned with where I'm at in my life anymore. And if I kept talking or doing about this thing and trying to monetize it, my business and my income would just be tied on views, and I would be, I don't know if this is a good analogy. I would feel like I would feel like I'm selling myself. Prostituting myself is maybe a vulgar way to say it. I hope you're watching this as you're a little bit older and not as kids, but selling my soul for money, and I didn't want to do that. And whenever I feel that way, it really pulls at me, and it's a much stronger feeling, and I've learned to be more in touch with that feeling I've learned to be more in touch with that feeling. And I feel that that's very important, because if you keep doing something that is pulling against your values and pulling against your soul, and you keep doing it, you're really wasting your life. One of my mentors that I look up to and helped me with scaling my business before, this guy Sam Ovens. He has this one video on YouTube where he talks about the reason why most people aren't able to grow their businesses is because they're trying to sell something that they don't care about. And if you don't care about something and you just try to keep selling it, it's gonna be crap. And the reason it's gonna be crap is because you're not going to care about the thing that you're doing. And when I sat with that, it's like, yeah, I mean, I really don't care about, like, building an Airbnb business. I have this platform and this website, and I could do affiliate marketing with the blogs, and I could build out a team, and I could try to automate it and systematize it and do these things, but I really don't care. So why would I give a crap? And if I did just try to maintain it, it would be, half-assed crap. I really hope you guys aren't watching this as kids. But that's the problem with being a full-time YouTuber, and why I decided to quit. And again, like I said, it's not like I'm not going to make content. I enjoy making content. Like I said, that's why I make these videos for you. But for me, my mindset shift is, I trade. I'm doing trading, and I'm doing this. I'm doing this business. I'm doing this thing, and I'm doing it even though I'm not making money from it right now. I'm learning and I'm growing. and I'm just genuinely curious and interested in it. And eventually, I'll be making money from trading, and my goals and my income and everything will just be from trading. And what I'm sharing, if when I start making content about it, if I want to make content, like, I'm not putting that pressure on me. If I make it when I feel like I want to, not because I have to. That's another key point. Making it because there's and sure, there, if you want to grow a YouTube channel, there has to be some discipline, there has to be consistency, there has to be these things. Sometimes you have to do the things that you don't always want to do. Like, I don't like journaling all of my trades, but I do it because that's part of the process and discipline. You do something that's tedious because it helps you grow. But again, it's a different mindset perspective of you're doing the thing because you love to do it and because you want to do it, and you're not tied to attention for your livelihood. There's a quote that I wanted to share, that's in trading, and I feel that it's relevant. It says, "The market doesn't pay your bills. It pays those who don't need it to." The market doesn't pay your bills. It pays those who don't need it to. Another one is, "The fastest way to lose money in the markets is to try to make a living from it." The fastest way to lose money in the markets is to try to make a living from it. So what does that mean in relation to being a full-time content creator? YouTube doesn't pay your bills. Being a content creator doesn't pay your bills. It pays those who don't need it to. Or, the fastest way to lose money as a content creator is to try to make a living from it, which is also true for many people. There's this guy on YouTube who, let me see if I can see him real quick, because I just saw recently. It's Roman Fari. This guy who he started this podcast where he was interviewing people about his finances, or about other people's finances, and seems like a really good guy. And he spent a lot of money and a lot of time. He's working a full-time job trying to become a full-time content creator. So he invested a lot of money into his production, and he said he spent $60,000 on YouTube over the course of like a year or something. And that's also not including all the time that he spent. And he did this because he wanted to become a full-time content creator. And it makes me think of that quote: "The fastest way to lose money on YouTube is to try to make a living from it." Because you believe, and I know firsthand because I've done this too. Like, I paid the shorts coach guru who scammed me. I paid for YouTube scripting coaching and private masterminds, for personal coaching, video editors, thumbnail designers. Like, I invest basically all of my money that I was making back into YouTube to grow, because I tried to make a living from it. But when you stop trying, and again, it goes back to what I've talked about before in some of my other videos about Wu Wei, effortless action. When you try to hold on so tight, you end up killing the thing that you wanted to take care of. You end up squeezing it so hard that you end up killing it. And when you let go and you say, you know what, I don't need YouTube. I don't need views. I don't need to make videos. I don't need to make money from this thing. I just want to do it because I want to do it. And if you are doing YouTube full time with that mindset, again, it can be dangerous because it's very easy to slip. You're riding on a very fine line. I'm not saying that it's impossible, and there can be some conflict of interest there. But again, it's a fine line. The way that I've thought about how I might be able to do that is, like I said, my income is, I could either be completely satisfied because, again, we have the money that's coming in through real estate and other online businesses and stuff. So, financially we're independent, financially free, financially independent. Like we have enough to be able to cover our cost of living, and we don't feel that pressure. But if we have bigger goals, then it's like, okay, well, we need to make more money. If as soon as I start tying my goals and saying, well, if I start making more videos on YouTube and doing this thing, I could achieve this goal. That's where it starts to become. It can start to become that conflict of interest, like we were talking about. But if I say, okay, well, I am where I'm at right now. Maybe I'd like to, make a little bit more, or we'd like to do this thing, but I'm gonna do it at my own pace, and I'm gonna, make that money through trading, and and maybe I just want to share some videos of stuff that I'm going through and things that I'm learning, and let's say I'm able to monetize it that way. To me, and I'm not, and again, it's I'm not feeling tied to this thing. It's because I just want to share rather than as the business. It's YouTube can be a byproduct of a thing that you're just curious about. That's where I feel like that can come from a authentic and genuine place. But again, it is a very delicate balance. If you just didn't do YouTube at all, you wouldn't have to worry about that. That wouldn't ever be something that you struggle with. But if content creation is something that you want to do, if you feel called to do that, just be aware that these are some of the deeper value problems that you will most likely run into if you decide to do YouTube full time. So, yeah, there's a lot of benefits to making content. I could make a whole another video just talking about why I love making content and being a content creator. But right now, in my phase in my life, I'm just creating. I'm trying to create just for the sake of creating rather than any other reason, because that's what feels most important to me right now. And if I do create in the future, I want to always remember this feeling that I have, like I have right now, where I'm holding on to this thing, my curiosity, my virtues, my authenticity, and carrying that lightly without trying to throw it into something else and then feeding that fire so much that it ends up dying, which is something that I've experienced. So I hope that this video helps you with figuring out that direction.